What is up? We are live. For those of you that are watching this via replay, you already know the drill. You can tap the screen and heart away. We do appreciate that. It's kind of like your way of paying for this free info. For those of you that are just joining, what is going on? What's up, Yankee? How are you? We're going to do something a little bit different. First, I want to make sure you guys can hear me. I'm going to talk a little bit low. I'm not going to project the way I normally do just because we are on an airplane. I'll keep you guys updated on what's going on. So I am heading out to a couple clients, but one client specifically in Delray Beach. Thank you. I appreciate that. We were set to take off at 10:45, and we're having technical difficulties with the plane. Got a lot of people panicking. There's another flight at 12, so people are actually leaving because they're nervous. Like, I guess there's something up with the computer, so they're trying to fix it. They gave us the option to to either book for, I guess you're the only one, dog trainer. You might have to log out and then come back in, buddy. They gave us the option to book at noon for the next flight or stay on and hope that they're going to be able to fix this. I'm not one that is like paranoid or like nervous about stuff like this. I'm pretty confident that if they don't fix it, they'll... Oh, hey, can somebody type? Oh, you got it? Okay, cool, Dave. I'm pretty confident that if they don't fix the mechanical error, that they're not going to try and fly. So I'm pretty comfortable. For those of you that already know, Soko is not only my right-hand dog for the training that we do, he's also my service dog. So we got him just hanging out here. A lot of people are getting off. They're booking for that 12 o'clock flight. I have the whole seat to myself. I know that next flight's going to be jam-packed, and I'm really digging having this to myself, so I'm chilling out for an impairment of mine for my hearing. So we're just hanging out. We're not doing a dog behavior question Tuesday episode today like we normally do because we didn't get to film it. I've been super busy just trying to do a bunch of go home sessions and make sure everything was caught up to speed before I left. So we didn't get to film yesterday, and I'm on the flight today. I'll tell you what I did do though. I woke up at 4 a.m. to pack, and then went to the gym at 6:30 to 7:30, took a cab here to the airport, and I figured since we're not doing Dog Behavior Question Tuesday, I will actually do a kind of Dog Behavior Question Tuesday show here for a Q&A. So with that said, looks like we have a good amount of people in here, as long as you guys are continue it. Kegs, I'm not drinking. Florida. Oh, Jeff. Oh. As long as you guys are hearting, let's get the questions going type of way. And the way we'll do this is I'm going to, the questions disappear after a while. So I'll read a question. And if you have that question, you might want to copy and paste it or just hold it so that when I'm done with that, you can ask the next one. And I'll say, okay, ready for the next one. So this is it. Because he's my service dog, Geetard. So he's a service dog for my impairment. He's not considered a pet. That's why. So like somebody with a pet wouldn't be able to do that. And it's for my hearing impairment, which doesn't require a hearing aid, but it is a hearing impairment nonetheless. Where you have, there you go. You have my doctor's note. I have his card, his service dog card. I have his vest and all of that. And fortunately, I'm a trainer, so I can train for what's needed. But let's get into the Q&A questions for your guys' dog behavior issues and all that good stuff. What do we have? Hey, what's up, Hugh? How are you? Yo, Hugh, I brought my my gi. I'm gonna try and find some jiu-jitsu out here. Guess it's kind of taboo to go to a Gracie school, but I might actually just check it out. There's one in Boca, which is like 15 minutes from where I'm staying. Yeah. What do we have for questions, folks? Let's try not to make it a novel. I'm a slow reader, and they do disappear pretty quickly. Would I begin with a prong instead of a slip lead?
Ladies and
Yeah, that's what I feel,
gentlemen,
Meatball.
we do apologize, but we don't
Hold on one
have
sec.
enough seats on the next flight to accommodate all passengers
You
that
guys
were
hear it?
on this flight. Therefore, if you decide to leave this flight, we'll have to accommodate you on a later
So
flight.
what they're
So
saying is
it's
that
better
there's
that
not
you
enough
guys
flights on
stay
at
on
12 p.m.
board
So the people
until
that rush to do
we
it
figure
have it.
out the situation
Anybody
right
else
now with
might kind of be
maintenance.
screwed.
We do apologize
So
once
hopefully
again
they
for
fix
this
this
delay.
because I made the choice to stay on. What was that question? I saw the dry skin one. Don't hold that. I was in the middle of an answer. Oh, would I start with a prong over a slip? Absolutely. It's really not an issue of the tool. It's more how you're using it. I personally believe that.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, all luggage will stay on board this aircraft.
I personally
No
believe that
checked bags
if
will
you're
be
really clear with
removed
how you
from this
communicate,
aircraft.
and what a lot
Once
of people don't
again,
realize is
all
like the
luggage
height
will be
of
on
the
board this
leash,
aircraft.
not
Will
pulling
not
up if you
remove
want to
any
go
bags
forward,
that were checked in
knowing
the
how to
front.
be ahead of the dog if you want to go this way, if you want to go this way. You can actually be much, much softer and much more sensitive on a prong than you would a slip lead. Now, having said that, it's not a matter of needing it or not, because there are a lot of dogs that I've trained on prong collars that I wouldn't say need it. I actually still walk my dog on a prong collar, and for those of you that know Soko, like, he walks like he drives like a Porsche. He's super smooth on leash, very soft. I can pluck a hair off of like somebody with long hair, turn it into a slip lead, and walk him, and he's not gonna pull. But it's just easier. The reality is, I can also drive a car without power steering. If I practice, I could probably ride a horse without horse reins, but I don't do it. You know what I mean? I can also walk up the elevator to the 9th floor where my parents live, but I walk up the steps, but I take the elevator. So sometimes things are a matter of like some convenience, and as long as you know how to use it and you're not hurting a dog, it really doesn't matter. It's kind of preference. I feel that I can not only be soft on the dog, but I can be softer. I can be softer with the dog, and just communication goes back and forth a little bit easier. I personally don't like a head. If he's walking on a loose leash, fine. I like it to be kind of at my leg or slightly behind. That's just personal preference, though. You probably don't live in like New York City the way I do, when it's a necessity for him to kind of follow. So it's cool to be lenient. Like, rules are based on like your environment and kind of where you live, and what's needed, what's more important. You know, like I have some clients where it's not a necessity for them to walk on a leash, so we use the leash for communication to get to where we need to go. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that just next, Dom. But at the same time, I don't work on walking with them. You know what I mean? There's other clients where leash communication skills are a necessity. So he doesn't understand it more because when you're using leash corrections, I'm willing to bet that your body is not matching what your leash is saying. So it's like a correction as your body's still moving, or you're stopping and then you're giving correction. Try to really be unified in how you're giving that. And for example, like if you're working on, let's say, like a place command, and you know how if your dog's in a break place and you have a leash, you can say nope, and you can step toward them with spatial pressure as you apply leash. If you're doing that and you're doing it well, you're very congruent with what you're saying, so everything parallel. It's like a parallel, where the dog starts understanding that. So if you pair something that's weaker, let's say like your leash pressure, it's not 100% clear, with body language, and your dog knows that, now you're speaking to him in two languages to make it easier for him to understand, or her understand, what it is that you're asking, right? So hopefully that makes sense. The next question is going to be, Dawn, if you're looking at dry skin, the first thing I'm going to look at is the food that you're eating, or that you're feeding, not you. More often than not, allergy-like symptoms and dry skin and itchy stuff, flaky, comes from a crap diet. The next thing would be looking at like breeding, and then you also have to look at size. If you have like bigger dogs and they're always kind of like rubbing and stuff, you can see kind of irritation, like dry skin, depending on the spots. I would look at a diet first and foremost, and then I would definitely consult a vet and try to see. I'm not familiar with that, but I would definitely consult a vet and see if like what's missing. Sometimes, like, and I've heard this, I don't know for sure about this. This is not like my field of expertise. Like adding an egg or some type of vitamin E or coconut oil can really help with the overall coat over time. You might be able to massage vitamin E actually into some of the dry area as well, or coconut oil on the skin. I've heard that. Yeah, Soko never really had skin problems also, but I switched to raw, and I mean, like, the amount of people that stopped me today at the airport and guessed Soko's age. It was like, oh, was he like 3 years old? Was he like 2? Hey, is he a pup? And Soko's 8 years old. You know what I mean? So I would imagine that a lot of it has to do with exercise, and a lot of it has to do with good diet, good food. He just eats well, you know? Same thing with us. We treat our bodies right. It pays off. It really does. What else do we have for questions, guys? Keep harding. Don't you stop harding. Yeah, you can check that out. The only thing I would say is definitely cover all bases. Just don't fall victim of being upselled by your vet. Make sure you trust your vet. Appreciate the heart, guys, the hearts. Because if you don't really trust your vet, it's really easy for them to upsell you. And then you're taking this, and you're running this test, and you're running that test, and then in the end, they don't know what it is. You know what I mean? Most allergy-like symptoms are it comes from crap food and crap diet. You know? Yo, yeah. Agnew knows that stuff. Agnew's pretty good with that stuff for sure. That's a great question, Geektard. I've found personally that if you put certain situations into human scenarios, into like situations where it makes more sense for them to understand why you want your dog to be treated a certain way or why they can't do this with their dog, it helps them to understand it, right? So if I gave this example. I was talking to somebody at the airport earlier. It's like certain like behaviors. For example, let's say I rescue a dog and let me keep this closer. Let's say I adopt a dog, and typical to the people that rescue and adopt dogs, we don't know their backstory, but we feel bad for them. We think that they might have been abused, and we want to make sure they have the best life ever. Why wouldn't you, right? So we buy all these toys for them, we buy all this and that, the most comfortable bed, and what we do is the second they get to our house or our apartment, we go, here you go get comfortable. Here's the guy, oh look, he took a toy and he jumped around on the couch and he got comfortable. Oh, that's great. And we think it's such a good thing, but why don't you put that into like a situation where it was a guest of yours, and the second you opened the door to your house, he didn't even shake your hand or hug you. He walked right by you, opened up your fridge, poured himself something to drink, went into your closet, found your bathrobe, put it on, got really comfortable, hopped onto your sofa, put his legs up on your coffee table. Would you be like, oh, well, you got comfortable? Oh, yeah. You'd be like, dude, you're really rude. So what we look for before we open the door to excitement and everything else is respect. Teach your dogs to be respectful, have impulse control, offer respectful behavior first as a primary. Then once that's known, you can say, yeah man, go ahead, you thirsty, go ahead, go open the fridge, grab yourself something to drink. Oh, you want to get comfortable, you can do that, because respect comes first, right? Yeah, well that's the problem. He whines because it works. Hold on 1 second.
Alright, if you're on the aircraft, please you can fly to the car button, Andrew Furman, last name F-I-E-R-M-A-N.
So,
Alright, for those passengers on Delta Flight 1289 service to West Palm Beach, again, we really do apologize about the delay, but I'm glad we got the aircraft fixed. They're just filling out the rest of the,
alright, so
what we call our logbook.
We got the aircraft
so once
fixed.
They're done with it, we'll be able to get the door closed and get you guys on your way into West Palm Beach. Please note that once you are 10,000 feet in the air, you can go to delta.com and make any comments on your experience here at LaGuardia Airport. We'll truly appreciate any feedback from you.
Yeah, so that's the example that...
At the end of your travels as well, so we do ask you to please rate us accordingly if you're pleased with our service here at Delta Airlines as well. Again, we
I trained Soko to fly, so I just hop on his back and land safely. It's all good. He's talented. No, but that's the example I would give. Respect comes first, right? You need him and your dog to understand, like, listen, you got to be able to hold this, and it's not fair. It's like your parents are the drug dealers, you know what I mean? And your dog is asking for that fix because he knows he's gonna get it. He's addicted. He's like, come on, man, you gotta help me. You gotta help me. Just give me just a little bit. And then he acts a certain way, and then he gets it, right? So That's basically what we're looking at, and they have to realize what they're doing is not healthy. It's not that the dog can never get it, but look at the reason why he's getting it for acting like that, so he's going to continue. Next question, when training e-collar heel, when should you fade out continuous stim and go to correction? Great question. So I have an order of how I do things for the most part, typically. The thing that the dog knows least is what comes on first, right? So if you're looking at, let's say first, I teach with the leash. I teach a dog how to sit. Or let's say I teach a dog how to come. When he feels pressure, he's walking toward it, I release that pressure. Feels pressure, like very basic, right? We won't go into like anything technical. And he gets really good at that. I never say the word here or come, right? I just teach that. You feel that? Boom, turn around.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have received the final paperwork.
Boom, come around.
And we're getting ready to close the boarding door. So if you're on your cell phone or your laptop computers,
this is going to be my last question.
You must go ahead and stow your laptop computers in an overhead bin or underneath the seat in front of you. Your cell phones will have to be in airplane mode or the cellular network is in the off position. Thank you.
Leash and my body, right? Yeah, man. Here, I'll talk to you later. Eventually, if I like the physical that I'm seeing, I will add here, right? So the same thing with the remote collar. Once I get the remote collar goes on first and it holds, and then I do what I've already been doing to make the dog successful, the stuff he already knows. And when he does it, the remote pressure shuts off. So he goes, oh, okay, interesting. So once that's known and a dog feels it, and then here and he's coming, and it's really good, and he's sharp, and I've experimented with like gambling a little bit and seeing how he is, and it's like pretty consistent. Only then will I maybe mess around with, instead of doing the remote collar before, doing it at the same time as the command. And remember, you're not holding it until the dog comes to you. You're holding it until like you see the choice and the button's coming off. So if you're starting to get to the point where you're tapping, and you're tapping because you plan to hold, but your dog is responding so quick that the button is coming off, that's when you know you're ready to continue just pressing and having the dog because he's coming, right? And then eventually say it, and then you don't have to worry about that. You can say it and the button comes on after, and eventually it becomes just for non-compliance because your dog is so freaking good.
And turn off the cellular network.
Alright, guys, I
Keep
gotta
back
go.
tray tables in the upright lock position, and most importantly, your seatbelt securely fastened.
I will see you guys in sunny Florida. I'm sure I'll do a couple of Q&As out there, and we will go from there. Why would I? Hey, Dawn, get back to me on the next Periscope. I'll try to do a Periscope either tonight or tomorrow, okay? I do have to be with the clients tonight. I should have a little bit of free time tomorrow. Alright, guys, later.